I always thought marriage was about trust. My wife, Melissa, and I had been together for 6 years, and although we had our arguments like any other couple, I believed we were solid. We had built a life together, bought a house in the suburbs, and shared the kind of routine that made me feel secure. But the thing about betrayal is, it never comes knocking. It slips into your life like a thief in the night, and by the time you notice, the damage is already done. It all started with an invitation. Melissa told me one Friday afternoon that her college friend was hosting a party at his downtown apartment. She said it would be fun, a chance to let loose, and that I didn't have to come if I was too tired after work. Something in the way she said it made my gut tighten. Why wouldn't she want me there? "I'll come with you," I said casually. Her smile faltered for a split second before she nodded. "Sure, if you want to." That hesitation was the first crack. The night of the party, Melissa got ready like it was prom night. She slipped into a tight red dress, heels that made her legs look endless, and perfume I'd only ever smelled on her during anniversaries. I couldn't deny she looked stunning, but I couldn't shake the thought, who exactly is she dressing up for? When we arrived, the apartment was buzzing with laughter, music, and drinks flowing like water. I recognized a few faces from old college stories Melissa had told me, but most were strangers. Melissa immediately drifted into the crowd, leaving me to stand by the drink table. I tried to shrug it off, telling myself she just wanted to catch up with friends. But as the night went on, I noticed something strange. She was avoiding me. Every time I tried to walk toward her, she moved to another group. When I reached out to touch her hand, she pulled it back too quickly. It was like I wasn't even her husband. After about an hour, I excused myself to the bathroom down the hall. On my way back, I noticed the door cracked open. Inside, muffled laughter and whispers spilled out. I froze when I recognized her voice. Melissa. And then, a man's. My chest tightened, and before I could stop myself, I pushed the door open. The sight burned into my brain like fire. Melissa, my wife, was completely naked, her body pressed against another man's. They froze when they saw me, her eyes wide, mouth open, but no words coming out. Time stopped. My blood roared in my ears, my hands shook, and I wanted to scream, to throw something, to destroy the scene in front of me. But I didn't. I just stood there, staring at the woman I thought I knew, realizing that everything we had built was collapsing right in front of me. "Jason, wait," she stammered, covering herself with trembling hands. But it was too late. The betrayal had already ripped a hole in me that nothing could fix. For a moment, none of us moved. The room was filled only with the sound of my shallow breathing. Melissa scrambled to grab a blanket from the bed, clutching it around herself as if that could erase what I had just seen. The man beside her, some smug-looking guy I didn't recognize, smirked like I had just walked in on a joke I wasn't part of. "Jason, please," Melissa begged, her voice cracking. "It's not what it looks like." Not what it looks like. That line almost made me laugh. She was standing naked in front of another man, his shirt half unbuttoned, his hands still shaking from what they were doing. "Then what is it, Melissa?" I snapped, my voice louder than I intended. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like my wife is screwing someone else." She flinched, tears brimming in her eyes. I was drunk, it just happened. Please don't blow this out of proportion." The audacity of her words hit me like a punch. Don't blow this out of proportion? My marriage was crumbling, my trust shattered, and she wanted me to calm down. The man finally spoke, his tone cocky. "Relax, dude. It's just a bit of fun. No need to get all dramatic." I turned on him so fast he actually stepped back. "You shut your mouth before I shut it for you." His smirk vanished. Melissa sobbed, clutching the blanket tighter. "Jason, please. Let's talk outside. Not here." But I was done with hiding. Done with her excuses. "No," I said firmly. "You wanted this. You chose this. You threw away our marriage the second you walked into this room." The crowd outside must have heard the yelling because soon whispers filled the hallway. Faces peeked through the door, shocked, curious, hungry for drama. Melissa's shame deepened, but I didn't care. For once, she could feel the sting of exposure. I walked out of the apartment, the air cold against my burning skin. Melissa chased after me barefoot, the blanket still wrapped around her trembling body. "Jason, wait!" she cried. I stopped at the elevator, my fists clenched. "Why, Melissa? Why him? Why anyone? Was I not enough for you?" Her tears spilled over. "You don't understand. You've been distant, always working, never really here. I felt invisible. He noticed me." Her words cut deep, but they weren't enough to excuse what she did. If she was unhappy, she could have talked to me. We could have fixed it. But instead, she chose betrayal. The elevator doors opened. I stepped inside without another word, watching as the woman I once loved collapsed in the hallway, sobbing. The doors closed, sealing the chapter of my marriage shut. The days after were brutal. I moved into a friend's apartment, filed for divorce, and ignored Melissa's endless texts and calls. At first, she begged for forgiveness, swearing it was a mistake. Then she turned angry, blaming me for driving her into another man's arms. But here's where the twist comes in. 2 weeks later, I received an anonymous email. The subject line read, "You deserve to know the truth." Attached was a series of photos, Melissa with that same man, in different places, different nights, long before the party. She hadn't just made a drunken mistake. She had been cheating for months. The party wasn't the beginning. It was just the first time I caught her. The sender? My so-called friend, Ryan, the one whose apartment I was crashing at. Turns out, he had suspected Melissa for a long time and had been gathering evidence. Melissa's secret affair wasn't a secret anymore. And the man she cheated with? He wasn't just some random guy. He was married too, with kids. His wife filed for divorce the same week I did, and together, we shared our stories, our pain, and eventually, a strange kind of comfort in each other's honesty. Months later, as my divorce finalized, I realized something. Catching Melissa at that party was the most painful night of my life, but it was also the night I was set free. Free from lies. Free from betrayal. Free to rebuild a life with someone who truly valued honesty. Melissa, on the other hand, lost everything. Her marriage, her reputation, her circle of friends. And the twist? That night at the party, when I thought fate was punishing me, it was actually giving me the clearest truth I had ever seen. Sometimes, the worst betrayal is the best blessing in disguise.